can see that, man, it's dark. But I broke the door handle trying to get out of this car the other day when I was driving it. All right, so I've been working today on this 2005 Toyota Camry. This is a car that was donated to the garage, but it was donated with the intention of going to another young lady with a family that was in need of some transportation. So anyways, so far today I've replaced the valve cover gasket. It had quite a bit of leakage of oil, just really bad. It was the original 2005 gasket that was still on this thing, and I literally had to take a chisel and chip it off of the valve cover. So anyways, got that done, did an oil change. I've got a stabilizer mount ordered. That should be in tomorrow. Check the brakes out and all, and just basic maintenance on this car to make for sure it's going to be in good shape. I want to show you one thing though. I've ordered a new cabin air filter. Doesn't that look nice and clean on both sides? Well, here's the one that was in it. I don't know if it's ever been changed, but it is just crammed full of any and everything. You can see down in there just how matted up this thing is. And I have seen worse than this, believe it or not. So what did I do with my trash can? There it is. So anyways, I'm just going to kind of knock this thing out. Still, it's just horribly bad. So we're gonna change this out. If I can change this thing out one-handed here. This will, number one, make the car smell a whole lot better once we get it put in. And then let me see. Sorry, bad camera angle. I'm by myself at the garage right now, but I am working on some other videos, so hopefully I'll get them up and going here real soon. So I've got it set back in the tray, and let's go put that in. Car still needs to be detailed. If you can see where that goes in. Changing your cabin air filter, most times, most cars, is a pretty straightforward process. It just slides right up in there. And sometimes the toughest thing about it is getting the glove box door back in the way it needs to go. So anyways, fairly decent little car here, and it's going to clean up real nice. Got a whole lot of junk just in there, which really it's not as bad as a lot of cars that we get in to the garage. Real clean. This is one of those where we had a person who was in need. We had somebody else that was willing to donate a vehicle. They were blessed to have one. And then we also have somebody else that's willing to donate and pay for all of the parts that we put into the car to get it up and going. And so it's not really cost us just a few $100s, I believe, to put into this and get it back on the road. So just wanted to show you guys as I started it up and I put it in gear and kind of brake torqued it a little bit and reversed and drive, and you can see that engine moving back and forth quite a bit. And what that is caused by, that's caused by this stabilizer bar right here that is just totally worn out. Matter of fact, I'm peeling pieces of the rubber off in my hand. It is just in sad shape. You can see the just from where the oil and everything, as I cleaned it off, the whole bunch of brake parts cleaner just to clean the side of the block and the head and everything. This was just all wet through here. This whole cover was just coated in oil, and so I was able to clean all of that up. Also, just kind of a quick tech tip, if you would, as you're dealing with older cars, and a lot of times these gas struts right here are just worn out, and they will not hold that hood up, or you can't trust them to hold it up for very long. I've been hitting the head so many times by these things where they'll hold for just like 30 seconds or maybe a minute, and then here comes the hood down on top of you. So if you're like that, I just keep a small pair of vice grips and put those on there at the top of this strut where it comes out, and try not to clamp it really hard, but just enough. It doesn't take much just to keep that whole hood up. Okay, I'm going to take this car for a little bit of a test spin after changing the oil and doing a few other things with it. We just found, had to find our water meter in our parking lot, and so that's it right there under that rim. And yes, we do have a lamp that is out here for free. If anybody needs a lamp, there's one that I made years ago, but I needed a way not to run over our water meter once we found it and to bust the top on it again. So we used our smart car as kind of a guard for that, so that we don't back over the water meter. So hopefully one of these days we'll get the smart car figured out as well. Back to our test drive. I've driven this car for several days before we did anything to it, and it really drives out nice and smooth. It has got, I don't know if you can see it there, 209,442 as far as the mileage on it. But still, even with that, 2005 Toyota Camry. They're just really good cars. And anyways, yes, we're about a block away from the jail. Well, they must be having court tonight or something. So anyways, wanting to drive this thing and get it up to temperature, and that way it can burn off some of that brake parts cleaner, which I know is already evaporated, but it's still got all of the oil and stuff that I've washed down still on that manifold. I want to make for sure it gets burned off without causing a fire or anything. If it's going to happen, I'd much rather it happen while I'm driving it instead of this young lady that's going to get this car. So hopefully I got it washed off good enough that there's no issues there. It's driving out real smooth. Brakes work really good on this car. Air conditioning works, heat works. It's just it's going to be a real good car for them. And we've got to get the I don't know if you can see that, man, it's dark, but I broke the door handle trying to get out of this car the other day when I was driving it. And so hopefully get that part in tomorrow, change out that motor mount. This car will be ready to roll.